Welcome to Divine Power with Dr. Soul. It is Wednesday, and that means it's time for Worldly Wednesday, where we talk about worldly things from a higher perspective. We talk about celebrities, world events, anything going on in the world, or anything the world is interested in. If you're interested in bringing more depth and clarity into life and world events, then be sure to like and subscribe. Hit that notification bell so that you're notified and you can join the discussion. Now, guys, don't forget, I have my Twin Flames Revealed workshop on February 21st, and it's going to be the most comprehensive twin flame event ever done. Okay, I'm addressing the 144,000, the deception surrounding the twin flame journey, the signs, dreams, and wonders, and more. I really just got tired of watching people confused about it, and I decided to just do an end all, be all event. Okay, so I'm just going to address everything once and for all, everything you really need to know about the twin flame journey. If you're stuck and you're kind of confused about it, you're wanting information, you're wanting clarity, I recommend that you attend this event. That's what it was created for. So the link will be in the description box below, or you can visit my website at truedivinepower.com. Now, on today's Worldly Wednesday, I really wanted to talk about something that actually one of you brought to my attention, and I felt like it was a really amazing topic, and I do think that it's something that we need to address. And remember, I'm doing this for you guys, so you can always comment below on things that you want to hear me talk about. I make a list of different things because I want to talk to you guys about the things that you want to talk about. Now, this one is going to be about social media and consciousness. Okay, now there's a lot of nuggets that are going to be talked about throughout this video, so I recommend that you stay to the end. I can be a little long-winded sometimes, but I'll do my best. But stick around because it's worth it. Okay, now when it comes to social media and your consciousness, social media is a big thing now, but the number one thing you really need to understand about it is that it promotes illusion. Okay, it does promote illusion. So social media has a way of taking your consciousness out of reality, taking you out of reality. Because you're looking at people's lives that you cannot get an accurate depiction of their lives. A lot of the things that you're seeing on social media is illusion. People can get on there and they promote basically the highlight reel of their lives. Okay, so you're not seeing everybody's, the totality of anybody's life in order to accurately judge anybody's life on social media. People are not going to get on there and post the down times. They don't post everything that they're going through. So it has this ability to promote illusion. And how that illusion affects you in your life is if you're looking at social media and feeling bad about your life because it seems like, everybody else, nobody else is having the kind of problems you're having. Like your life just sucks compared to everybody else's and things like that. It can give you the illusion that your life is worse than what it is. It can give you the illusion that other people's lives and realities are much better than yours. Okay, so that's one aspect of the illusion. The other aspect is that, not all influencers are a good influence. So what can happen with social media is that because there's so many people on a certain bandwagon or following a certain person, you can begin to be under an illusion about how accurate their information is, about how much of a good influence they really are. Because just because someone is an influencer does not mean that they are a good influence. So there can be a strong influence towards something that is detrimental to you spiritually and within your day-to-day life. Okay, so you have to understand that there is a lot of illusion. And a lot of times people go into social media and they begin, following people or watching things in their feed, and they are not conscious and awake and aware that, hey, I need to take everything I see here with a grain of salt. When it comes to social media, I need to be very grounded and conscious and not just mindlessly, looking through all of this stuff and thinking that what I'm seeing is real, or believing what I'm seeing because there's so many other people who believe it and who are going along with that trend. Okay, and that leads me into my next point, which is social media is a way of channeling your consciousness. Okay, social media channels your consciousness, and you have to understand that your consciousness is extremely important. And there is a reason that people are called influencers, because they are influencing the way that you channel your consciousness. This is extremely important, okay? Because your consciousness is your power in your life. It is your creative force. So what you have to understand is that people who are maybe more aware of spiritual principles than you are, people who maybe have more power and control over the reality than you do, if they can control and influence the direction of your consciousness, they are influencing the direction of your creation. So we have to understand this goes back to spiritual principles in the fact that everything we see here, we are collectively creating. This world is not something that we're just subjected to. And there's a reason that the Bible tells you things like you were created in the image of God. Okay? What that really and truly means is that you were created from the same source, the same force that all creation comes from. Okay, the very force of what you call God. Okay, all of that exists in you, and you are a part of this creation. So the world that we live in is our collective creation. How is that created? Through the flow of our consciousness. So if we control the flow of consciousness, if I was in power and I wanted to create a world that was really my vision, right? But I would need a certain level of power in order to do that. And in order to change and really control the entire reality, you cannot do that with your consciousness alone. The universe does not allow it, okay? Because it's giving everybody an ability to put their input into what they want. Everybody is equally creators. In truth, we're not more powerful than one another, okay? But that's something that people who want to hold power over people, they don't like believing that they have just as much influence and just as much power as people in power. Okay, so when you are channeling your consciousness, if I wanted to control your reality, I would control your channeling of your consciousness. This is why media is so powerful and so important, because you can take the creative energy of a person and what you make them focus on, you can make them create. Okay, because you're not only using your power, you're also using their power. Okay, so this is why it's important to pay attention to the influencers and people that you follow and what you support, because is it bringing any power back into you and showing you what your power is and telling you to direct your energy and your consciousness into things that you find beneficial to the reality. Okay, anything that you do not find beneficial to the reality, you should not be feeding it energy. You should not be feeding energy into something that you do not want to exist. That is almost like saying, here is a plant, okay, that is existing in this reality, and I don't want this plant to be a part of this reality anymore. So you know what? I'm going to feed it. I'm going to give it nutrition. I'm going to give it sun and energy. No, you make it grow stronger. This is universal law. You make things get bigger when you focus on them. So say, for instance, I wanted to create in the world more prejudice or social injustice. Okay, then I want more focus on prejudice and social injustice, because the more you focus on a thing, the bigger it gets. You feed it. You're not getting rid of things by tunneling in on them. you're feeding them energy, you're making them bigger. So a lot of our world goes against universal law, universal principle, and the way that this universe operates. It does not operate on, if we want to get rid of something, then we zoom in on it. Okay, so a lot of people are operating backwards, and they're channeling their consciousness based on things that they don't want. Okay, and that keeps it going. So you have to understand that with your social media, you are channeling your consciousness into things and giving it power, helping it live. So you need to understand your personal power and that you are helping things live by what you focus on. So this is why it is extremely important. The things that you want to see in the world, give your attention to that. Support that. Share that. Like that. Give energy to that. That is your power to create. You are creating this world and you are powerful. Okay? You're very powerful. So be careful with your consciousness. Now here's another, because with social media, here's the tricky part of it. Your consciousness gets from under you before you know it. Things that can easily distract you are holding a great power in your life. Because just think about how you could be in one grounded place, right? Really centered within yourself with your consciousness and your focus on things that are really important to you, things that benefit your life. Then you see one goofy ass video, right? You see one silly, some silly stuff. And then guess what happens? Before you know it, your consciousness is down this path of nothingness. Okay? Bringing your consciousness to places that it wouldn't be. So you have to understand that social media is channeling your consciousness. Media is channeling your consciousness, which is channeling your power. Now, when it comes to social media, here's another thing we want to look at. Your feed is showing you your consciousness. So one thing I do love, because I'm talking about, kind of the more negative aspects of social media. But one of the things that I absolutely love about social media is that it helps give us a mirror to our own consciousness. And here's what you have to understand. While everybody is hating everything in the world and they're focused on what they don't like and they don't like the mirror, the reflections that's coming back to them, it is universal law that your reality, what you see, is all a result of you, okay? It's all coming out of you. Universe, your world, universe, you have power, okay? So your reality is mirroring back to you yourself. Now, this is the great thing about a mirror, because a lot of us don't like mirrors. We don't like the fact that the reality is mirroring back to us who we are. So when we look at the world and all the things that we don't like, our energy plays a role in that. We are a part of this collective consciousness. We are all connected. So not one of us is created in God's image, but the others of us are not. We're all connected. Every living thing that you see is connected. So this reality is mirroring back to you, and a lot of people do not like that because they don't understand the benefit. They're not looking at the good side of mirroring. Let me ask you this. How would you know what you look like without a mirror? If we did not have mirrors that existed, and I'm talking about looking at it from the physical reality, all right? The mirror you're going to go look in your bathroom. How would you know what you look like? You would have no idea the construct of your face because you can never see yourself without a mirror. So this is why it is so valuable. It's such a beautiful thing. When somebody comes and does something ugly, because there's a thing as projection and there's also mirroring. Those are two different things, and we're not going to get into that in this video. But when people are coming to you and they're mirroring things you don't like, okay? So when the mirror shows me I have snot on my face, I don't like the snot on my face, but aren't you glad that the mirror can show you the snot on your face so that you're not walking around with snot on your face? Okay, so it is the same thing when life and the reality shows us the ugly parts of ourselves that we don't like to see. When the reality mirrors back to us our jealousy, our hatred, our ugliness, we tend to push that and reject that. But why do you want to walk around with snot on your face? It is asinine. Okay, and this is foolishness and lacks wisdom, because it means that we're basically saying, rather than have a mirror, I would rather walk around with snot on my face and not know what I look like. When something mirrors back to you the depths of who you are, and it's things that you see that you don't like, be thankful, because this is your opportunity to see your hatred. Stop judging yourself for who and what you are. You make sense. Every person makes sense. So every person and their perspective, the way that they are, they have lived a life and had experiences combined with their unique genetic makeup that results in them being exactly who they are. And there's nothing wrong with that. You would be them too if you had their exact DNA and their same environmental programming. Okay, so this is where we need to get out of judging one another, as social media is so, prominent in doing. And we need to accept the mirror. Okay, so one good thing about social media is it will help you see yourself. How is that? Because your feeds are showing you your consciousness. When you go and look at your social media feed, whether it be on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, wherever you are seeing the results of your consciousness. This is where you've been channeling your energy. Go look at your feeds. See what you've been supporting. See what you've been paying with your energy, because your energy is power. That's why when it comes to currency, current, money, okay? Current is a currency. That is your energy, and you are paying your energy. So what are you paying? Go look at your feeds. See what you've been giving, a little contribution of your power, a little contribution of your energy. You will see where you are. So don't go through your feed and say, oh, people are ridiculous, and look at this foolishness. Somewhere, that is in you. And you've been watching it. You've been paying attention to some foolishness, and this media has picked up on your algorithm, your current, your stream, what you've been doing, where your consciousness has been flowing. And even if you just only watched a couple videos, you paid some currency there. So there's nothing in your feed, whether those are your friends on Facebook. So when you talk about what your Facebook feed looks like and what people are doing, them your friends. You picked them. Okay, you added them. Okay, you brought them into your realm, which means you have something in common with their energy. Okay, so this is the benefit. Okay, this is a powerful way that we can use social media, because remember, you cannot see your face without a mirror. So when you want to see where's my consciousness, you need to be able to step back, because you're embedded in your consciousness, right? It's hard to look at it and see. Go look at your feeds. Okay, now here's another point when it comes to social media and your consciousness. You are meant to control your social media. So you should not have anything in your feeds, in your world, that you don't want to feed. What are you paying? Because a lot of times what people believe is that, when they look at paying, they see it only as money, but that's the physical manifestation. And remember, as above, so below. So just as you pay money, in the physical reality, you pay energy in the spiritual realm. So you are paying. Where are you putting your energy? What are you supporting? What are you feeding? What are you lifting up? Okay? And I'm going to say this too, because a lot of people will go to things like even my channel, right, that feeds you, that gives you things that are beneficial to you, that is working to uplift you, raise you in consciousness, raise you in your power. And how much are you paying for that? And we're not talking about money. We're talking about how much are you uplifting? How much are you supporting? How much energy are you feeding? How much are you spreading? The things that you want to see in the world, the things that are beneficial to you. Because when you uplift the rest of the world, you uplift yourself, because you're all connected. Okay? So the crab in a barrel mentality is not going to serve you. Pay attention to what you're uplifting. You're not sharing and liking and subscribing and spreading the content that benefits your consciousness, but you'll go and spread nonsense. So you have to understand that is your contribution to the reality. We are all contributing. And the world we live in is a result of every single one of us and what we've paid our currency into, our conscious currency, our current, our flow, our energy. Okay, which is power. Money is not the only current. That is the manifestation on the physical side of the current. But your energy is a current. Your energy is a currency. How are you spending it? You're supposed to be controlling your social media. There should be nothing in your feed that is not a part of what you support in this world, what you want to see more of, what you're paying for, and what you're using your power and your energy for. Okay? So you should be getting it out of your feed. Stop clicking on that. Stop liking that. Stop paying dividends and money towards that. And it wouldn't be in your feed. So what's in your feed? And how are you controlling your social media? Are you clicking on any random thing that comes up? Or are you saying, is this something I want to pay currency into? Is this something that I want to see more of? Is this something that I want to support? And anything you do not want to see more of, that you do not want to support, you should not share it and comment that you don't want to see more of it. You just paid it. You just contributed. Congratulations. You are helping the energy of that very thing. You ignore and starve what you don't want to see. That is how you control the reality. Not with our big mouths and what we have to say and our personal opinions that comes from God knows where, what kind of programming, trauma, and all kind of shit we got going on, which is the reason for our opinion. That's not how you do it. Look at what you want to support and uplift that. Share that. Give energy to that. Anything that you do not want to live, you starve it. Give it absolutely nothing. Nothing, not an ounce of your energy. Now, the last part that I'm going to talk about when it comes to social media is your instincts about social media and people and influencers are going to be both right and wrong. And I'm going to tell you why. You need to listen to your instincts, first of all. When something tells you you don't need to pay energy into this is not accurate, it's not a good thing to support, you need to listen to that. But you also need to be mindful that sometimes some things that enrage you are enraging you because of you. There's something in you that is like the thing that is enraging you. And I'm going to give you a good example. A big example of this is racism. Okay, the more racist you are, the more racism is abhorrent. Or the more you are fighting against racism within yourself, and this is what you'll see more in white people, because with black people, you'll see some really racist black people that are so concerned with racism. The irony. Then you will see white people who are so filled with, they still have unresolved issues with their own history and lineage as it pertains to racism. So they still have work to do within themselves. And sometimes they're so against racism because of that guilt and shame that they are carrying. Okay? Now, here's the thing. So now that I kind of opened that can of worms, right? That's something else I'll talk about in another video where I can really get into depth with that. But since I opened that can of worms, I'm going to have to address it. Now, there is a guilt that is accountability, and there is a guilt that is shame. Okay? If there's a white person that's taking accountability for their DNA, meaning their ancestors, the lineage behind them, the effects that they are living with based on their ancestors, and then they're using that to say, no, we're going to do something different. That's healthy. That's healthy. But if they are beaten and trodden down with shame and this gnawing, nagging guilt of being a rotten being, and this is why they're against racism, then they have their own issues that they need to address. So I got into that to get into the point that your instincts are both right and wrong. And this is why you have to do your internal work. You have to understand yourself to know when you're feeling something. Is it because it's triggering you because it is touching something in you that you need to bring to light and awareness and deal with? Or is it because, there's that this is coming from a healthy place and a healthy expression, and this is just rightfully your natural instinct and your own spirit telling you and giving you guidance, because it is your GPS in this reality. But you have to understand that it can be tainted, and you can get false signals based on all the stuff you got going on within yourself. Okay, so that being said, if that's what I do, okay. If you are looking to get all of that cleared up, you want to line yourself up in a better way internally to be more in alignment and in harmony with the universal flow of life and the way things really operate, to live a more content, peaceful, and easily flowing life, then, book me for coaching. Hire me for coaching. I can definitely get you there, okay? So, that being said, if you found this content useful or enlightening, be sure to like, share, and subscribe. Pay energy to the things you want to see. Also, tell me your perspective on the topic in the comments below, and be sure to share what topics, if I could talk, what topics you'd like to hear me discuss on Worldly Wednesdays. Okay, so that's it for this episode of Worldly Wednesdays with Dr. Soul, and I'll see you next Wednesday.